Hey there, A's Day fans. Welcome to our Friday edition of our show. We have made it through another week and appreciate your patience on waiting for the newest edition of A's Day. Once again, I'm your host, Joe Grad. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, kicking off your weekend with us, or whenever you're listening to this edition of A's Day. We appreciate each and every one of your support. Today is Friday, February 27th. We got a good show for you. Before jumping into today's show, just wanted to do an overview. The reason why we are releasing later in the day today is because we wanted to wait for the professional Cactus League debut of left-handed pitcher Jamie Arnold. That's right, happy Jamie Arnold Day for all who observe and celebrate. We take a look at how his first taste of MLB action went. Yesterday, we learned the A's and Nick Kurtz are in talks about a potential extension with an offer reportedly being officially on the table as we discuss what this may look like and if an extension indeed will get done between Kurtz and the team in 2026. And before we get on out of here for the weekend, we want to provide a reminder of our upcoming A's Day player preview and prediction series, which is set to kick off this Monday, and what content you can expect to enjoy. This episode is brought to you by the Holiday Inn Sacramento Downtown Arena. Stay in the heart of downtown at Holiday Inn Sacramento Downtown Arena, ideally located near Old Sacramento Waterfront, Golden One Center, and Downtown Commons. Our full-service Sacramento hotel is just 15 minutes from Sacramento International Airport and within walking distance of the California State Capitol and Safe Credit Union Convention Center. Host meetings, conferences, and social events in our flexible boardrooms and ballrooms, supported by experienced on-site sales and events teams. Enjoy modern amenities, including a rooftop outdoor pool, on-site fitness center, and Cypress Grill restaurants serving breakfast, dinner, and cocktails. Guest rooms and suites feature comfortable workspaces, contemporary amenities, and city views, making them ideal for both short stays and extended visits. Whether you are attending an event, planning a meeting, or exploring Sacramento dining, entertainment, and cultural attractions, our downtown location keeps you close to it all. Downtown access, full-service comfort, easy booking. Stay at our downtown Sacramento hotel. All right, without further ado, Holy Toledo, let's go A's. All right there, A's Day fans. Thank you again for tuning in to this edition of our show. Appreciate you tuning in to hear our thoughts on everything surrounding athletics baseball. Before we jump into today's show, just want to give you a reminder of where you can find us outside of these podcast episodes, which we continue to love and appreciate your support. Check us out on wherever you like to listen to your favorite podcast. You can listen to A's Day there too as well. Whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify Music, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Samsung, Podbean, so many more. Wherever you can listen to an audio podcast, A's Day is there, available for your listening pleasure. In addition, check us out on our social media platforms on Instagram at A's Day Baseball Podcast, on X, formerly known as Twitter, at A's Day Baseball, and be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel for video editions of our podcast episodes, as well as A's player interviews and destination baseball content. Whether it's the A's down in Mesa during their spring training, or perhaps you want to check out an A's game on the road, we are going to be uploading future content around that too as well, all on our YouTube channel. So much exciting pieces to come in 2026 covering this exciting team. And to become an official subscriber of A's Day, check us out on our Patreon site, patreon.com/A's Day, for just $2 a month. You'll be entered to win monthly A's Day t-shirts, A's autographed memorabilia, future A's game tickets, and so much more as we are able to grow this platform collaboratively. All right, so let's jump into the reason where we are actually recording later in the day today on this wonderful Friday, because there is a lot of hype around last year's first-round pick. Jamie Arnold made his debut against the Kansas City Royals earlier today. So, about Arnold, as soon as now another rookie sensation who we're going to talk about a little bit later today, as soon as Nick Kurtz stepped onto the practice field with the A's last year for his first big league spring training, he was so advanced as a hitter that the sense around camp was that it would not be long until he debuted in the majors. 1 year later, we fast forward. Seems like that similar hype appears to be forming around Jamie Arnold. Like Kurtz last spring, Arnold rated as MLB's number 141 overall prospect per MLB Pipeline's top 100 list, and the A's number 2 prospect following the 2025 season. He enters his first big league camp as the A's most recent first-round draft pick, selected 11th overall last July out of Florida State. Arnold did make his debut earlier today, which we'll discuss in a little bit, on the road in surprise in relief against the Royals. Arnold does come at you with a funky arm angle in a weird slot, which has him garnered with some comparisons to Chris Sale, someone that has had an abundance of success in getting hitters out consistently at the major league level. So certainly that is a very highly respected player comp. That, along with an advanced repertoire for a pitcher his age, is part of why many believe it might not be too long before he reaches the majors, speaking of Arnold. Could Arnold take the Nick Kurtz path to the show? At this point, the A's have stopped trying to project how much minor league time a prospect needs before he's ready, especially considered what Kurtz and even Jacob Wilson, who also reached the big leagues just over a year after he was drafted as a first-round pick in 2023, have done. First up for Arnold is to appear in his first spring game on Friday. Then he'll officially most likely make his professional debut for one of the club's minor league affiliates once the regular season gets underway. Once that begins, his performance will dictate how quickly he ascends through the organizational system. Given the A's need to improve on the pitching side to match a potent offense, that call might just come sooner rather than later for Arnold if he performs the way many believe he is capable of doing. Before getting too far ahead of ourselves, of course, let's stay in the present and let's discuss how his debut went against Kansas City. The A's number 1 pick from the 2025 draft flashed his impressive shallow fastball and slider combo to strike out 2 in a scoreless inning of work during the bottom of the 4th inning. His line, he went an inning, allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and it took 18 pitches. From review, we actually had the opportunity to tune in and check it out. Fastball was pretty consistent around 93 to 94. And he ended his day in I thought, very fitting fashion on a nasty slider. Again, his player comp is Chris Sale. That is his bread and butter off of his fastball. It looked like Arnold snapped off a nasty one to get Isaac Collins to strike out to end the 4th inning. And there's a lot to like. You could see he was pitching with that confidence. Lost Bobby Wood Jr. via the walk, but aside from that, had pretty consistent command. And I think definitely is a good foundation for Arnold to build upon. And you're going to be kind of caught in this rock and a hard place because you don't want to wait too long, especially if you're a team that does have a need for this top prospect's position. The A's, it's no secret, they do need some depth on the pitching side. So there is that temptation that if Arnold has a beyond impressive camp, they want him to break the season with the Major League Club. But to me, that's unrealistic just because he hasn't thrown an official professional pitch yet. So I think the A's are going to at least want to start him, I would say, at A level, and then, depending on how he performs, see how quickly he can move up the organizational chain. Originally, I thought we wouldn't see Arnold at least until 2027, just seeing how prospects do get moved up the chain a lot quicker, especially the top prospects seem to make their way to their major league time with a lot less minor league time. So I guess time will tell here, and we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but certainly the buzz around camp is very similar to what it was with Nick Kurtz last year. And if history does continue its knack of repeating itself, perhaps we are going to see Jamie Arnold sooner rather than later. But really good to see him get his feet wet. I'm sure there was a whole mix of emotions. Would love to talk to him about it sometime. But definitely an impressive start and looking to see what he does his next time out. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. It's good that we're seeing, Jamie Arnold getting his feet wet, Gage Jump had an appearance a few days ago. These young guys are getting a taste of Major League action. Leo DeVries, I believe, had at least 2 hits in today's game. So these young prospects are really getting a good opportunity to face off against Major League-type pitching, and they're having some early success in camp. And while these guys are most likely going to start within the organization at the minor league level, that's going to be a great sounding board. It's going to be a great opportunity to build on that confidence, to know that they can compete at that level, and they just perhaps may need a little bit more seasoning and development in their organization, get more of those positive reps, and kind of instill that goal and kind of reinvigorate you to want to move up that chain sooner rather than later, to be able to be a positive influence and make a difference at the major league level for your team. But wanted to touch upon that. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, they do have his Jamie Arnold's pro debut video highlight on MajorLeagueBaseball.com. So if you guys didn't get a chance to check it out, I know we're going to watch it back just to be able to pick up on some things and for further discussion. But that won't be the last we see of him. We've only just begun. But really cool to see last year's first-round pick get that first appearance out of his way. Hopefully he continues putting up zeros, and perhaps if he performs just so well, he may have to have the A's baseball operations may make a tough decision. Like I said, reality says he's going to start, I would say, at A, but he does have the opportunity to ascend quickly. That just does seem like how the modern development in the game is currently at. So best of luck. Glad things are off to a good start for the young left-hander. Moving along, we're going to talk about another topic of discussion, an exciting one, and someone that has already proven he can do damage at the major league level. Yesterday, the Athletics have made an extension offer to first baseman Nick Kurtz. No specifics of the offer have been reported, and it's unclear how likely it is for the two sides to reach an agreement. Kurtz tells Tyler Kepner of The Athletic that he is definitely open and interested in a long-term deal, but added that it's just all about timing. The A's have been busy on the extension front in recent years. It appears there is a dual motivation at play, connected to their ongoing move from Oakland to Las Vegas, with a stop in West Sacramento in between. Reportedly, they wanted to increase their spending in order to avoid a grievance from the MLBPA, so as to not risk losing their revenue-sharing status during the move. Also, it seems the club wants to have an exciting, consistent young core in place to help them build a fan base when they get to Vegas, currently planned for opening day 2028. At right about this time last year, they got 2 extensions done. They signed outfielder designated hitter Brent Rooker to a 5-year, $60 million deal. And then shortly thereafter, they inked Lawrence Butler to a 7-year, $65.5 million deal. They have continued down that road this offseason. It was reported on Christmas Day that they had agreed to a 7-year, $86 million deal with outfielder Tyler Soderstrom, and that was followed up by a 7-year, $70 million deal for shortstop Jacob Wilson just about a month ago. Kurtz is another sensible target. He just made his debut last year at the age of 22. His 30.9% strikeout rate was on the high side, but he drew walks at a very strong 12.9% clip and hit 36 home runs in only 489 plate appearances. He was the unanimous choice for this past season's American League Rookie of the Year, even though he wasn't called up until late April. Even though he missed part of the season, Kurtz was retroactively awarded a full year of service time for that award win as part of the prospect promotion incentive rules. That means the A's currently control him for another 5 seasons instead of 6. He is going into his age 23 season and is slated for free agency after his age 27 season. If the A's want to sign him for longer than that, it makes sense to do it sooner rather than later. Players generally get more earning power as they approach free agency. The record guarantee for a player with 1 year of service time or less is Seattle Mariners outfielder Julio Rodriguez, who got $210 million in his deal. For guys with 2 years of service, Fernando Tatis Jr. got $340 million, and Bobby Wood Jr. got $288.8 million. For guys who have pushed into their arbitration seasons, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has the record at $500 million. Kurtz also shouldn't be desperate for cash in the short term as they discuss a potential extension. He got a $7 million signing bonus after being drafted 4th overall in 2024. He also would have added around $2 million in 2025. The league minimum salary was $760,000 last year, and Kurtz earned just under $1.3 million via the pre-arbitration bonus pool. Considering all those factors, as well as Kurtz's prospect pedigree and rookie season, we kind of thought that the number would come in right around about $150 million or more to lock up Kurtz right now. He's in a similar position as Rodriguez when he signed that $210 million deal with Seattle. Though, Rodriguez had more earning power as a strong defensive center fielder, whereas Kurtz is a bit farther down the defensive spectrum as a first baseman, holds his own over there, but hasn't graded out as well defensively thus far. The $150 million range would get Kurtz beyond Roman Anthony, who only had a couple months of big league experience and was 1 year further from free agency than Kurtz when he signed his $130 million deal. Getting to that range would require the A's to effectively double their franchise record, which is currently held by the $86 million deal for Soderstrom. The long-term books aren't totally clean, as the 4 aforementioned extensions are there. However, none of those deals has an average annual value of even $13 million. The salaries do increase over time, but none of the guaranteed seasons even reach $20 million. If the A's wait too long, they do run the risk of Kurtz continuing to perform at this elite level, which would gradually nudge his earning power closer to that of Guerrero. Even if they can't get a deal done, they can control Kurtz through 2030. If they open in Vegas in 2028 as planned, they could still potentially have Kurtz for their first 3 campaigns in their new home. So I love the news of this. I didn't think it was going to... I thought the last internal extension, at least for this offseason cycle, would be focused on Jacob Wilson, which I'm glad they got done. And I thought Nick Kurtz, I feel like there is a lot more trust built between the front office and this current group of A's players. So I'm sure the communication channels have been open a lot more frequently. Shout out to the work that David Force has done. I think he's really doing a good job architecting perhaps the next great A's franchise era of A's baseball here. Time will tell, but they have a nice young internal core. Signing up all these guys, to my opinion, these young guys are getting money guaranteed. But in the grand scheme of things, these are very team-friendly contracts when we're talking about monetary value. From the player's point of view, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think it makes 100% sense for Nick Kurtz to sign an extension right now. I mean, he just got to the show, right? I mean, he's earned the right to get guaranteed money. And I feel like, I mean, unless the A's are going to offer an exuberant amount, perhaps $200 million or more, I know you love getting that guaranteed as soon as you can because anything can happen because that's baseball at times. But with the start that Kurtz is off to, and he's only going to be entering his age 23 season, I just think the sky's the limit, and he's going to even add on to the craft that he's already put on tape that we haven't even seen the best version of Nick Kurtz yet, to the fact that he could be forfeiting some future money down the road. Now, I'm looking at this at pure monetary focus for what Kurtz could earn down the road. And I guess you could make the argument, how much is enough money? Like if we're talking in the $150 to $200 million range, that's a pretty penny for anyone that anyone would be gracious to play a game for, absolutely. I'm just talking about looking around the league and the type of player that Nick Kurtz is in, that he could perhaps, if he has another year like this, even 2 more years like this, could command something of a $300 million extension, because I think he's going to continue to prove why he is not just the American League, but the league, one of the league's best first basemen. I think his defense is going to grow, but you can already see how, I mean, he was a Hank Aaron Award nominee last year, which means at worst he was a top 10 slugger in the American League. So, and you know, he was the unanimous Rookie of the Year award winner and hitting 36 home runs in 117 games, not even 500 plate appearances. That is just someone that you know that has that natural ability, that he has that it factor to remain consistent at the major league level. Now, year 2, that first full go around this year will be very interesting, especially early, because there's going to be a lot more tape on Nick Kurtz, and one of the struggles in his game is that high strikeout rate. So you're going to see a lot of pitchers try to pinpoint ending their at-bats and battles with Kurtz, trying to pinpoint his weaknesses in the strike zone. And I'm sure Kurtz, to be able to fend that off, has worked on some of those areas of weakness to try to move them closer to areas of strength, or at least to a neutral spot. So time will tell. That is the beauty of this game. It is always about a game of adjustments. But from the team side of things, this is a no-brainer. That you get this done. And it's good that there is some positive verbiage that is going on behind the scenes, but also it's out there in the public eye. Nick Kurtz has made it clear that he is open to discussions about a potential extension. And if the A's can get this one done, they are going to have the majority of their offensive pillars locked up through 2030 at the minimum, but it's going to be even longer now, especially if you extend. What is it going to look like? I don't know. It would probably be somewhere like 7 to 8 years. I would guess around 150 to 175 million, maybe 200. But it would be something a bit exuberant, but something in the long run is going to look like an absolute financial bargain, because I think Kurtz is going to continue to have that offensive output at an elite level. Like I said, with him entering his age 23 season, we haven't even seen the best version of the Big Amish just yet. So a lot of exciting times. Saw this come on the timeline. Wanted to bring it here to A's Day. Let us know your thoughts. If you want to comment and continue to chat on social media, we check that pretty frequently. But I think this is an interesting thing that, as an A's fan and as an A's organization, you definitely want to get this done. And if you are Nick Kurtz, you definitely got to like what you're seeing about a lot of your teammates getting locked up long term, that there is a plan in place to win sooner rather than later, and then have it sustained for several years with the internal pieces that they're keeping. And you can see the prospects that are on the rise, especially on the pitching side. It seems like that perfect storm is coming together for the A's. There is that light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm sure Nick Kurtz wants to be a part of this ride. And I'm sure absolutely the A's know that Kurtz is an integral part of returning winning baseball to the A's organization. So best of luck to all parties involved. Hope an extension gets done. That would be very exciting. And if it does, no, we're going to say when it does, because we like to will things into existence here at A's Day. We'll hop back here on a future episode, break down the details, talk about how we were right. If we were going to predict, I feel like I would put it at 50-50 that something gets done here. I would say more than likely that I still think that this is something that is going to get done next offseason. That key word, the timing is everything. I'm sure that Kurtz has a lot of confidence in his ability, and I'm sure putting up a stat line of 162 is only going to increase his value. The A's, absolutely, they want to get it done right now. I don't know if it does, but I'm glad these conversations are happening. I think it's a sign of really good things to come for this team. All right, before we get on out of here, just want to give you a friendly reminder that starting Monday is the return of A's Player Preview and Prediction Series. So what this is, if you aren't familiar, we changed the name of it. I can't remember what we called it last year, but it's the same format where we're going to talk about one A's player, one episode a day, all the way through opening day on the 27th for the A's. And the morning of the 27th, it is going to conclude this series with a overall team preview, which we will take a look at the lineup, we'll take at the rotation, the bullpen, we'll break it down. We'll give you some players to watch. We'll make some fun predictions to have it slide right into first pitch against the Toronto Blue Jays on the 27th. So we love doing this because we get to talk about the A's as a whole, and we get to talk about some guys, but it's usually all blended together on each episode. So these are nice little shorts, and it also helps, especially as you get under that last month until baseball is returned, you kind of start itching, and you kind of are out there seeking as much baseball content as possible. So this will be a nice, it's nothing going to be anything too crazy. At the most, it's going to be anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. Some might be a little bit less. Some maybe a few minutes more, just depending on who we're speaking about. And if there are a couple of guys that we feel like have the opportunity to break camp with the team, or perhaps will be a fringe guy that just misses out on the roster that may help the A's later down the road. We may have a couple episodes where we'll talk about a couple of prospects or a couple guys that were just on the outside looking in, or some guys that just made the roster. We'll kind of play around with it, but especially early on, it's going to be one player a day all the way through opening day, and you can enjoy it on the same platforms on wherever you listen to your audio podcasts, as well as our YouTube channel will have the video editions available for each one. So just wanted to give you a reminder of all that. And on Monday, we are going to be kicking things off talking about right-handed pitcher Luis Medina, who we feel like has a lot to prove in 2026 and can be one of this team's X factors as to a reason why things went so right. So just wanted to make sure, as a friendly reminder, we brought it up a couple times, but now is the time. We have everything prepped, ready to go for your listening pleasure, and we can't wait to break down this roster and just see who the people are that are going to be positive contributors to perhaps the A's getting back to the postseason for the first time since 2020. And with that brings us to the conclusion of another edition of A's Day. Appreciate each and every one of you stopping by. On today's show, we discussed Jamie Arnold, last year's first-round pick, making his Cactus League debut. It was a successful one. 18 pitches against the Kansas City Royals in the bottom of the fourth. He went 1 inning, struck out 2 batters, didn't allow any runs, allowed 2 base runners, but worked his way out of it, capping things off with a nasty slider for a swinging strike 3 against Isaac Collins. And then later we talked about a potential Nick Kurtz extension, what an extension details may look like, and who we feel like mostly benefits from this, and our reasoning as to why we do not believe it's going to get done in the immediate future, but very positive as to seeing that these conversations are already happening, because we do want Nick Kurtz here in the green and gold in the present and for the long term. And then before getting on out of here, we just gave a friendly reminder that our A's player preview and prediction series is set to begin this Monday. We are going to kick things off with right-handed pitcher Luis Medina. So that is our next type of content. You can tune in. It'll be available for your listening pleasure on your favorite audio podcast platform, and the video edition on our YouTube channel starting on Monday morning. And then we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming for our Tuesday show. We're going to do a spring training check-in. We'll also have the next player preview and prediction episode ready to go. And our biggest topic of discussion is, with many positive, viable candidates to fill this role, who's going to lead off for the 2026 A's? Tune in on Tuesday to hear our thoughts and reasoning as to why we feel like we have selected the best option. That's all we have for you today. Hope you go out and enjoy the rest of your Friday, or whenever you're listening to this. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll be back behind the mic for Tuesday's show. And don't forget, starting on Monday, 1 episode a day all the way through opening day, as you get to learn about the 2026 A's players on this year's roster who we project are going to break camp with the team or make an impact with the Major League Club at some point this year. Once again, I'm your host, Joe Grado. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate each and every one of you continuing to stop by and hear our thoughts on athletics baseball. And at the time of recording, that's right, an even month until the return of A's regular season baseball. And we're excited to be here to cover it all. Take care, everyone. See you all again real soon. Holy Toledo. Let's go, A's.